captain of the left arm medium fast of Collins. Stackpole out for 2. Redpath still there on 2 with 2 extras. Australia 8 for 1. Well, that's a major breakthrough for New Zealand, with Chappell looking so good. Out for 20, and Richard Hadley, thinking possibly be swept away for 4, takes the top of the leg stump. And Australia now lose their second wicket at 45. The line of the off stump. Well, 233. Australia all out today. He's out, caught by Ian Chappell. It wasn't a very good shot. The ball that went straight on through, and that is a very good blow for Australia.
Very good player for New Zealand, and Coney also looks a good player. That is the 5th wicket to go. It wasn't a particularly good delivery, nor was it, I suppose, a very good shot. But
Howard is staying. Howard has taken a catch and he's been given out. Davis there with that stance, that closed stance. His arm's been caught by Dale Hadley. Condon, should I say.
Situation. And he's well now.
He's bowled,
I think he's
yes.
bowled him, yes. Couldn't quite see for Rodney Marsh there. Brian Hastings right at the death, playing a stroke that he may never forget. We can have a look at it again here now. We're obscured by Marsh. Mallett's top spinner. Just watch the stumps in the bail now. And the ball coming back. Mallett shouting. And the bail just flying away. The umpire, in fact, signalled out. Hastings, a moment of mental aberration right at the end. A brilliant innings from Glenn Turner. A few awkward moments against Max Walker, but justifiably being...
11 o'clock and New Zealand with 51 to get, and now they've only got 50 to get with the first ball in the first run of the morning's play. Was a leg by, and with that leg by the extras have gone to 19 and the total to 178. And now Glenn Turner, 85 not out, has taken guard and will face Mallett. A glorious day here at 11 o'clock this morning, and a sizable crowd to come to see the last stages of this test. And that was the end of an over that began at 1 minute to 6 last night. with Mallett bowling Brian Hastings with the 5th ball of the over. Hastings was out bowled by Mallett for 46 when he tried to hit it away through the onside, and New Zealand had lost their 4th wicket. But now Coney, no score, Turner 85. And the new ball just 2 overs away now. So that be interesting to see if Chappell will call for the new ball. He's going to continue this morning with Walker, which would indicate that he will take the new ball for the last attempt to break through the New Zealand batting lineup. The advantages equate both ways, really, because with the new ball it will be slightly harder and will come off the bat quicker, and there are runs to be picked up, especially off the medium fast bowlers backward of the wicket. So the field placing just won't quite be as attacking, possibly, as he would like. However, for Coney, it's testing time. Coney, who in the Sydney Test, which New Zealand very nearly won, the rain stopping, then carrying through, and they had Australia 30 for 2 in the second innings. Coney made 45 in New Zealand's total of 312. Bit of tension already on. You don't take runs like that to Redpath, especially if they go to the right hand. Walker, the man who has really impressed here in Christchurch, in this Christchurch Test, with his line, length and movement. Every run that New Zealand get now to the new ball will be a bonus as well. Walker 2 for 36, and that's off 22.5 overs. The field placing is interesting for Walker. It's both attacking and run saving. Let's have a look at it. There's 2 slips in the gully on the catching positions behind the wicket, and on the left-hand side, which is the offside, they've got a wideish mid-off and a cover out there. And on the onside, 3 men, one at wideish mid-on, backward square leg and fine leg. Well judged. Not a great deal of movement with this old ball. The breeze is blowing and favouring Walker's in-swing. The wind blowing from left or right at an angle across the pitch. Here's Davis, short in on the hip of Coney there with the floppy hat. And my word, he did some wonderful things in the field yesterday for Australia at that position, and also in the deep backward point. Coney, a very tall player, as you notice, and basically a back-footed player in the early stages of his innings. He's building it by making that movement back slightly onto the back foot, like so many of the good players now do. Well, another typically accurate Walker over, and after 23 overs. Walker's figures: 2 for 36. 23 overs. Dimmick none for 65. Greg Chappell none for 28. And Mallett, the other wicket taker, 1 for 30. 177 was when the last wicket fell. That was, it seems a long time ago now, but it was 1 minute to 6 last night. Now New Zealand have added one more run, 178. Well, that could be at least 2 runs for New Zealand, could be 3. The applause for Redpath's throw from the deep and for the very good running by the New Zealanders, no doubt about that. There was definitely 3 on, but it was up to Coney to make ground at this end, and the ball was in Redpath's hands when he started to turn, and away he went, and he made it quite comfortably. There's Chappell just directing Redpath in a little bit closer. Wait. The voice there, wait, from Glenn Turner. .183, 45 to get for New Zealand, 6 wickets left. And so Walker will bowl his 25th over of this test match with the new ball, and so it's a different ball game now. The ball coming onto the bat a little quicker. It means that Chappell will have to drop one man back deep, and he's done that already. Davis is way down at backward point where he's had those fine saves yesterday afternoon. There's a deep fine leg and no one close in on the leg side now. Ball was pitching outside the line of the off stump. Let's have a look at it again. Pitching about the off stump and would have gone outside the leg stump. Still well worth an appeal. Good ball from Walker though. Good ball from Walker. And that was a close thing for Glenn Turner. The other big question for New Zealand now is not to get bogged down by accurate bowling so that they stop scoring runs. They must attempt to still keep up the tempo and play their shots. Bit more bounce you notice there in that delivery with the new ball. A bit more bounce than the old ball, and that one came up quicker and came off the bat faster as well. Still 45 away from victory. Greg Chappell, Walters. Mallett at mid-on. Good line again. This is very, very good bowling, and Ian Chappell could not wish for a better response from the big Victorian than to have him bowling this line with the new ball, bowling to his field, bringing the ball back into the right-hander. And even though he scored now 90, Turner has to watch every delivery and almost got it through earlier this over. Greg Chappell. He's at cover point, had to move and anticipate that shot, and he did so. There could have been a single if he hadn't anticipated Turner's shot. He was moving across to his right then before Turner had completed it. Good cricket. Well, that's helping New Zealand's cause. Dimmick. .44 to get. 184 the total now for 4. And Turner moves to 91. Only 1 run all off that over. Another good over from Max Walker. It's his 25th over, 10 maidens, and now his figures at 2 for 36.
New Zealand going along very nicely this morning. No real alarms. Max Walker the bowler now. Doug Walters. It's a fairly attacking field. Chappell has to concentrate on taking wickets this morning. He needs this initial breakthrough, but has only 43 runs to play with, and that really is not enough with the batting side having 6 wickets in hand. That's the second time Turner has jagged it just past the off stump. Been trying to force Walker away. Walker bowling very well this morning, just moving the ball a little bit even when he was using the old one. And now with the new one, he's getting that in slant, his natural delivery coming from outside the right-hander's off stump. Very O'Keefe. Turner on 92. And 2 more there. Dimmick off the fieldsman. Kearney made up for 3 and will do. So 40 needed now. 188 for good running there from Kearney and Turner. Perfect conditions at Lancaster Park. Hardly a cloud in the sky. The field just closing in a little bit. The third man coming up to make 3 slips. Davis comes in to point. Redpath goes away to behind square leg. So there is a single in front of square at the moment. That's rather enthusiastic applause for a defensive stroke. I suppose the fact that Kearney negotiated it safely was the overriding thing. He certainly got well behind it, played it very well. Dimmick again. .189 for 4. So Kearney is off the mark now. He's batted 29 minutes this morning. Before scoring that first run, he took a leg bye from the first delivery of the morning. That was from Mallett. And now Turner has strike again to Max Walker. Any very slim hope Australia may have certainly lies with Walker. His ability to pick up either of these batsmen with this second new ball. That's too high. Would have gone over the top of the stumps. Jeff Dimmick now. And Kearney is the batsman. And safe for a single, Davis the fieldsman. .190 for 4. The batsmen only have to pick them up in singles. They don't need to do anything at all sensational. Glenn Turner just 5 runs away from becoming the first New Zealander to hit 100 in each innings of a test. Well, that's the sort of delivery the Australians need. They need Turner to get an edge to one of those waiting slip fieldsmen. It's a very good delivery from Dimmock. It actually swung away from Turner. Didn't just go off the pitch. Beat him in the air first of all and then kept on going. .190 for 4. Turner on 95, Kearney 2. Last man out in that last over yesterday was Brian Hastings for 46. So this pair now have added 13 this morning in 35 minutes. In no really bad moments. Turner twice has played the ball down near his stumps, but far enough away for the Australians simply to be frustrated without having any great hope of breaking through. Walker bowling to Kearney. Kearney has a pretty good method. He does bat up the list for this province. Played pretty well in Australia on 3 or 4 occasions. He and Morrison are the 2 big improvers in this New Zealand side. Quite safe for a single. Good running by Kearney. Mallett had been pushed wide at mid-on. He's gone some 15 metres away from the umpire, so there was room for a single once the ball had beaten Walker. Redpath. Two there. Dimmock the fieldsman, but Turner will come back. A nicely played stroke takes him on to 97. So Ian Chappell faced there with the problem of taking 6 wickets now for 35, and I think probably even Ian Chappell, optimist though he is, would reckon that is a fairly tall order. Dimmock now bowls to Kearney. A fine shot. 4 runs. The remarkable the difference 2 or 3 boundaries will make. There's still a lot of tension out there. Coney and Turner probably don't believe that they're within touching distance of victory, but a couple of boundaries of that kind will settle the thing very quickly. 197 now, 31 needed. Single there, Redpath.
Five runs off the over. 72 runs now off 20 overs for Dimmick, yet to claim a wicket. And it's 198 with 30 required for victory. Turner 97 and Coney in on 8. Well, that was inside edge. Wasn't a very good shot, but there's still Coney must be under a fair amount of pressure out there. He played across the line. They probably moved a little bit on him, and he had to hurry the shot, throw it at the bat at the ball with a bit of bottom hand to it. He wasn't quite across to it. It's a better shot. Here's Davis. Good ball. That one went the other way, and Coney made sure, possibly because of the ball a couple of deliveries ago, when he didn't get quite across, that time it was across, and when it did move on him, he was over the top of it. This fellow Walker, who's bowling to him, has come to New Zealand with a big reputation. He's really impressed. I feel that Davis slightly misjudged that. He ran in towards the ball and it was past him and not very far away, and 2 runs taken lifts the total now to 228 required for victory. But a good shot from Coney there, the ball lifting on him, and he was across and over the top of it. And again now the pressure on Chappell as he moves one of his slips away to point. Good ball, the slower one that time. And it swung fairly late. So after that shot from Coney, 2 balls ago, there's only 2 slips now in a gully to Walker's bowling. And Greg Chappell is out at point. Very square on the offside. Nice shot. Well, Coney has played the 2 best strokes of the morning. One off Dimmick off the back foot, and that really was a lovely shot. He was in behind it. The timing was there.
It's a good indication of the way with this little bit of experience, the way Coney has improved. Australian tour has done him the world of good.
Again, making sure he's over across that to that off stump. So if the ball does go straight through, or that one that does move away, he's in a position to let it go and cover his stumps, and also if he can play it. Well, the total is 204 now, 24 required. And the buzz that started at 11 o'clock when the umpires came on is still with us here at Lancaster Park from the big crowd. The score, as Walker goes back to his position at fine leg, 204, 24 required. Turner 97, Coney 14. Redpath. 98 for Turner. Good response from Coney to Turner's call that time.
We were talking the other day about the level nature of Turner's eyes when he's facing the bowler. It's a lovely picture of him here, a real classic of grip, stance and balance.
Only one run. Davis is the fieldsman. Pretty good throw from that young fellow. All the nines, 99. And it's 206 now. 22 need it, and that fella there needs one run to really make possibly the greatest contribution in this game than anyone else. Hit him on the shoulder, and he's been caught behind. The umpire ruling, I think, that occasion that the ball came off the glove. Well, there's the slow motion replay. The ball is short, lifting. He turns his back.
Coney looks very disappointed, but he needn't be. He did exactly the job that was needed this morning. Taking that total on from its overnight position of 177 on to 206. And the man coming out now is Ken Wadsworth. A couple of brisk boundaries here. Once Turner gets his single, and it'll be a nice little finish to the game, Doc.
Tremendous, and he's a fellow who in this situation would have a go, but of course if they pick up another wicket, the old pressure will still be on. But Wadsworth, a batsman who in Australia really impressed the Australians with his fluent hitting and stroke play. Turner, one away from his century. Chappell moving his field, keeping it tight. Turner will still have to work for this run. This is Dimmick. Bit of a jab with the right hand there to get the bat back on line. Well, there it is. And the crowd rise to Turner. Has written himself in the history books today. A crowd close to 5,000. 4 runs, 103. To add to his 101 in the first innings. And Turner now wants to concentrate and get back because he's got the game to be won. The no-ball call was just a shade earlier, and he was able to punch that one away. .101. Good running by the New Zealanders again. Redpath's throw was good. But the running between the wickets just a little bit better. And Turner saw Redpath, had a quick glance at him and was away very quickly, and Wadsworth was scampering because Turner had to get home though.
I wouldn't have liked that one to have hit the stump stock. I think it might have been very close. One of the basic rules of running between the wickets is don't go on a fumble. In fact, Redpath dropped the ball there, transferring it from hand to hand, but he was throwing as the batsman started off on that second. It's just a trifle risky. It's too high.
Just a slide too high on the line of the off stump.
Not much doubt that Glenn was dead in front, but the ball bouncing just a little bit too much there. In addition to achieving this feat of a century in each innings of a test match and joining a very, very select group who have done it in these international games, Turner's established another little record, which we'll talk about in a moment. There's never been a test match played where a batsman has made a century in each innings where there have been so few runs scored. Just at the moment, 467 runs, and there can't be any more than, say, 483, 84. The closest to that is A.C. Russell, the England batsman, who did it in a match where only 583 runs were scored by the side.
Walker's trying to get to it. They're comfortable too, that's all. The signal is the leg by, but it's all runs on the grand total for New Zealand as they move now to 214, so 14 runs required now, and that's the end of Dimmock's over as we come to drinks with Turner 105 and Wadsworth yet to score. It's 214 for 5.
That was an extraordinary stroke that could only have been played under tremendous pressure. I think he expected the bouncer, got himself into position, in fact, too early for it, and then just flailed the bat at it when he suddenly found it was coming down outside off stump instead of roundabout leg stump. Dimmock, the man at fine leg. To win now. Still 5 wickets in hand. The other batsmen listed are R.J. Hadley, D.R. Hadley, Howarth and Collins.
Few New Zealanders watching play. Most of the team spent yesterday in the dressing room doing all manner of things, putting new sprigs and boots, polishing old balls, playing cricket and cards. In fact, at one stage, I think Congdon was about the only New Zealander, and the 12th man was the only New Zealander watching actual play, and the transistor was blaring away, and it was a pretty tense moment for the side.
Head. That's the problem of not keeping your eye on the ball. A fellow who just puts his head down and doesn't watch where the ball's going. Wadsworth normally just moves out of the road and evades the ball, watches it go through. That time he just bent his head, hit him on the back of the head and bounced away. Seems to be quite all right. chewing away.
His jaw's working anyway.
$218 for 5, 10 runs needed. Although Turner, the New Zealand opening batsman, has made 200s in the one match, the Australian opening combination is not doing all that well. Redpath has done very well in the 2 tests played, but Stackpole is having a runabouts. Will be leg byes. $220 for 5, 8 runs needed now.
Turner's had amazing 10 months or so of cricket. He scored 1,000 runs in May in the last England season. Averaged something like 74 for his county when he came back. And was top of the first-class averages in England with 67.11, scoring 2,400 runs in England.
Scored there. It's not very often that the bowlers have got an LBW decision with the batsman playing forward in this game. Although that one came inside Turner's forward prod. There's enough doubt in the umpire's mind for him to give the shake of the head rather than the nod. For 221. Mallett. .222 for 5, 6 needed. Davis, either side of Ian Davis, just by a couple of yards, and would have been through to the boundary. The ground is very fast this morning. It's dried out day by day after that rain at the start of the match. It's a little group of, I suspect, New Zealand supporters rather than Australian supporters singing Waltzing Matilda, with slightly different words from the ones originally scheduled many years ago. Bad feeling from Dimmock allows Wadsworth through for the 2. Takes the total now to 224 for 4. Just 4 needed, and to take you through what should be a moment of great celebration, Doc Williams.
Thank you, Richie. Richie Benaud. Still Wadsworth. Last New Zealand Test victory was 14 tests ago in Lahore, 1970, when they won by 6 wickets. It was a pretty good 8-month period at that stage for New Zealand cricket, because they beat the West Indies, a big, strong West Indian side that made a full tour of New Zealand in 68-69. They beat the West Indies by 6 wickets at the Basin Reserve, and then went on to beat India and Pakistan overseas, and led on to the overseas tour. So since then it's been without success, although on a couple of occasions in England last year there was times when the matches were going their way. Perhaps the most significant was that great fight back when they nearly scored the 485 to beat England. Well, Turner's the batsman who we've watched now throughout this test match, and certainly he's proved beyond all doubt in the innings he played in Wellington that he is a great player, great test player. He, in fact, I'm sure will rewrite the New Zealand cricket record book. His concentration is tremendous and his technique as good as any opener in the world today. Just the one run. Ashley Mallett down there. 225, 3 to get. And Wadsworth could do it with one hit as the team watch. They're out here today. There's nothing surer than they're going to celebrate for a few hours now. Yesterday they were tucked in the dressing room, didn't dare look. But now they're watching this fellow, Wadsworth. It's been tremendous cricket, really, and the pitch is a very sporting one, has helped the medium-fast bowlers throughout this test match. And each of the medium-fast bowlers on each side have had their moments in this test match. And like that ball that got up on Wadsworth then, has just been enough encouragement into the pitch to help the seam bowlers. Possibly the difference between the two sides when it comes down to ones and twos is Glenn Turner's two quite magnificent innings. 101. Now at the non-strikers end, watching Wadsworth at 110. Pretty comfortable run. 2 to get, and it would be a fitting close if that fellow there got the 2 runs. Glenn Turner. Had their opportunity to the Kiwis to beat Australia in Sydney, but the weather came along. Outplayed in the other 2 tests over there. Well, if Dimmock plays in the Auckland test, he won't be able to get the ball up that high, possibly. So, as this test comes to a close, he probably enjoy the last couple of bounces he's liable to bowl in New Zealand test cricket. Interesting to see how much bounce there is in the Eden Park wicket, but during this season there hasn't been a great deal. Still trying typical Australian stuff, they're not giving anything away. Whether the captain Ian Chappell will give someone else a bowl as the test drifts to its conclusion remains to be seen. But right now Dimmock is trying to quite determined that he's not going to get the final runs knocked off him. End of the over. Dimmock done for 82. And Wadsworth too, batting here is kept well. It was Wadsworth who took the last 2 wickets to fall. One very good catch behind of a ball. He seemed to slightly misjudge. He got his right hand down low to hurt and picked up Mallett's wicket. That ended the Australian second innings. Many times in the test, Australia seemed as if they were going to take charge, but they didn't. There's always something was happening, and when New Zealand were batting the same. Yesterday, a moment almost of panic for the crowd here at Lancaster Park when New Zealand lost 3 wickets for 11 runs. But significantly, this is not only a great day for New Zealand cricket, that's obvious, but a great day in New Zealand sport. It's good that it's happened here in Christchurch, the scene of the Commonwealth Games. And there it is. The Test match is all over. New Zealand's first great victory over Australia. And Turner, the man who scored the century in each innings, scored over 43% of New Zealand's runs in this Test match.
Well, this is a great day for New Zealand sport, not just for New Zealand cricket, but the way the cricketers have played in this game is something that can be chalked up in New Zealand sport for many, many years. And the best thing about it was that there was nothing fluky about the win over Australia. There was no luck attached to it. Both sides battled very hard throughout, and looking at it from outside, New Zealand had the better side in this game. Although they were well beaten in Australia, they've come back here very well. They fought back in Wellington, and here in this Test match at Christchurch, I think they've given a marvellous display. The difference between the two teams, I thought, was Glenn Turner for a start. That's the obvious difference. And then there was the bowling. I didn't think the Australians, with the exception of Walker, bowled nearly as well as the New Zealanders. They fielded well, but their bowling wasn't as well directed, and that's where I felt the difference lay. Now the teams go on to Auckland for the deciding test. It's deciding for the Australians anyway, because they have to win it if they want to get back to level pegging in this series. But wonderful congratulations to Bevan Kong and his team. A great performance.
Well, it's been a long time since Lahore in 1970. New Zealand's last Test win must be very pleasing today, Bevan.
Yes, well, it certainly is. Often we've been into a good position over the last few tours and just not been able to capitalise on it. To do it under what we thought was a pretty good game of cricket and pretty keenly contested was most satisfying.
Ian, where do you think the game was won and lost?
Well, I think probably, it was won and lost a few times. There were a lot of peaks and a lot of troughs as far as both sides were concerned. But I think where we lost it was the fact that we never ever really made enough runs in either innings. And probably you could account for this in our poor start in both innings. When you get away to 3 for 60 or 70 or something in the first innings and 3 for 30 in the second innings, you're always up against it. And this, on that wicket, with always a little bit of encouragement for the seamers, I think that's probably where we lost it as far as any point that I could pick in the game.
It's obvious that Glenn Turner's century in each innings is very significant. Scored about 43% of New Zealand's runs, but whereabouts were you pleased in the other areas of the New Zealand team performance, Bevan?
Well, I think the team pulled together pretty well all the way through. I think this time we were able to support the bowlers a little better than we did in Australia. Certainly all the quick bowlers bowled particularly well all the way through. To my mind, I thought yesterday morning when we had to capture wickets quickly, and we did, I think that made the difference between sort of winning, struggling to win, and perhaps losing, because another 70 or 80 runs would have given Ian a lot more options to be able to play on.
Well, Glenn Turner, looking at the 2 centuries you scored in this Test match here today, the first 100, if we can revert to that for a moment, and that last 15 minutes was like a rugby Test match here with you trying to get to your 100. I'm just wondering, what sort of pressure were you under then?
Well, I think it was such that we had a good crowd, and sure, they were getting in on the act, and they tend to respond very, very well here. And I felt, well, I got so close, I might as well try and do it there and then. But I don't think there was any danger of a run out. It's just that when you're on 99, naturally your colleague is backing a long way up, and if you play one virtually anywhere, you're always looking for one. And I sort of played it close to me, and I started to go. I got down the wicket about 5 yards each time, And he said no, so I went back. But I always had time to get back. And it probably looked a bit like a circus there, and the crowd were getting pretty involved too. But I don't think there was any great danger of being run out.
Are you conscious of what the opposing captain is doing to try and put pressure on you? And are you, like what Chappell was doing in those 2 innings?
Yes, well, perhaps they try this sort of thing more than most. When we first went out there, they were looking at this end here on a good length where the odd one bounced, and they're probably trying to psycho us into looking for the ball to do something. But I mean, those sort of things went out long ago, I think, you know, because you play it as it comes. But there's a bit of game. Field placing? Yeah, he errs on the side of attacking, which I think is fair enough. In this sort of match where it was tight for runs all the time, I think he could always afford to have somebody in there for the odd one that jumped up. Oh no, I wouldn't say any more than that.
And looking back at all the centuries you've got, I suppose this last one gave you a lot of satisfaction.
It did, but actually yesterday, if we'd got the runs, I feel I'd have been more elated because we'd built up throughout the day. Today we came out and we only wanted 51. And we had 6 wickets in hand, and you think, well, we should do it, but you never damn well know. And the way things have gone in the past, sometimes we've made a mess of things when we should have won. So sure, you think about it during the night and you think it must happen, but then you go out there and because you're so preoccupied and making sure that it happens, you don't really allow yourself to enjoy it as much as you would. And so as a result, at the end, I thought, yeah, that's good, and that was that.
Thank you, television boys.
Very good. Thanks a lot, Glenn.
Okay.
Congratulations. Thanks you very much for that.